Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Sreeram with Doc 365, a contracts lifecycle management solution, and I'm going to be your host this morning. And with me today is Aditya Anil. Aditya is a solution specialist with Doc 365, and his expertise is majorly around exploring AI applications to solve business problems. So Aditya has been leading Doc's AI team, helping us leverage AI in the contracts management processes. Good morning, Aditya. Welcome. So the topic I had for today is the impact of AI in contract management, and we hope to go over some of the most common challenges that contracts teams face and what AI can do to solve some of those. And this could be by supplementing the efforts of the folks involved in the process. We'll also look at a few use cases that even you could start exploring with AI, especially with the tools that you're already familiar with, such as OpenAI or Microsoft Copilot. We'll try to cover these topics in as much detail as possible. However, we do understand there could be, questions or concerns. So feel free to, post your questions in the chat, and we'll try our best to answer all of them towards the end of the presentation. And if any questions remain unanswered, due to some reason, we promise to address them in an email along with the link to the recorded webinar. All right. So, working at Doc 365, I've had the privilege of speaking with hundreds of organizations, consulting on how to streamline their contracts management by leveraging their existing Microsoft investments. So, what businesses, that I've seen, what they want today for their contracts processes is, faster turnaround, data-driven decision making, better compliance, cross-team collaboration. But what we see most organizations grapple with is inefficient manual processes that are prone to delays, inconsistencies in data tracked, which stems from human error. Everything's just disconnected and siloed. And I believe our viewers would be able to resonate with this too. So how do we address these issues? Well, there are different ways to go about doing it. And today, we wanted to see if AI can help, and if yes, how. So Aditya, you're the expert here. So let me ask you how. What impact can AI bring in a contract lifecycle?
Sure, Sriram. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me, Sriram. So, AI itself today, I'll be mostly contributing on how AI itself will be reshaping contract management as it will be not as a future concept, but something you can, as a practical, powerful tool that you can leverage right now. And starting with this efficiency. So, I'm sure most of the current workflow wise, it will be that a contract review, a document review process involves reading like hundreds of pages of pages of and similarly of documents, looking through the clauses that you have, some of the dates and the obligations that you have to track. And this itself depends on the type of document that you're looking for. So for an NDA, what you extract and what you look for could be different from what we have in a lease agreement or a confidentiality agreement. And uh, and this process itself is very time consuming and often tedious. And this is where AI can help a lot with identifying what are they using most of the language models like ChatGPT and Copilot, identifying what are the obligations that you need to track and what are the data that you need to extract out of the contract document. And the one of the other category that I'd like to discuss upon is identifying risks that are there in the contract document. So in contract lifecycle management, identifying the risks or missing out on them has serious implications in terms of legal disputes that could come up, opportunities that are missed, and even penalties, financial penalties that could come up with an obligation being missed or had not being able to track in a specific entity that wasn't uh, available. Yeah.
Right.
And so with the current advancements in AI, all of this becomes easier. We are able to recognize what are the patterns that are associated with a high risk clause. What are the ambiguous languages that can be present in the contract document, or what are the deviations from your standard playbook or the library that you have created upon and based on your past performance in specific contracts. So all of this can help mitigate any type of risk by pointing out where and something was non-compliant, what internal portal policies were matched. And
Okay.
when it comes to data accuracy, so imagine there are lots of documents that you need to review upon, and having all those data and all the specific entities extracted and having them in a proper formatted, structured way is very important in contract management. And using these, you set up further pipelines and further workflows that can be used. And here comes our where we have in our pipeline a extraction mechanism or the migration mechanism where all this data based on your custom needs can be extracted and have them standardized using an accurate machine learning model. So this is what at an initial phase what AI can contribute to a contract lifecycle management process.
Awesome. So thank you so much for that perspective, Aditya. And I really wanted to, run through you some of the concerns, businesses have had around AI. I mean, it's not tied into contracts management specifically, but generally, I feel it's a shared sentiment towards AI across organizations, across industries, across geographies. So the list that I put together, uh, it's not exhaustive, but then, if you could at least tell us how we could help address these concerns before we, go ahead looking at some of the use cases that you wanted to demonstrate today. And these, are the ones that I really wanted to, ask you about. So, I've heard organizations, say AI, sabotages data security, because more often than not, I mean, organizations do not want their data to leave their environment and then to be used by the AI training models. And AI is not always right. AI, is not cheap. And then finally, the elephant in the room, which is AI is stealing jobs. So how would you address these, Aditya?
Mhm. I agree with you, Sriram, on this. So across organization, regardless of the domain that we are working in, all these are really important points that we need to take care of. And even before we have a feature using AI on the pipeline, all of this need to be uh, taken care of, and that's what we have done in our pipeline and the process as well. So initially starting with data security. So in all of the use cases that we have developed by either using our own custom models that we have for various purposes like data extraction or be it clause extraction, and any of the third-party services like OpenAI or Microsoft Copilot that we use, all of this come from the Azure or the Microsoft environment itself, and all of them hosted on the client tenant itself. So that makes sure that whatever data is there is owned and managed by the client themselves and by the user themselves, and there's no data that goes out of the system or being used for data training, data improve, model training, model improvement, or any such. And whatever data that is being used for the either for making sure, because with the new generation machine learning models like ChatGPT, they are generative models and they have a risk of generating some random content that doesn't match. So even then we have the Microsoft Azure content moderation policy, which makes sure that only the for the specific purpose of moderation, this any kind of processing outside a system comes in, which can be canceled based on client or user request as well.
Okay.
Then, yeah. And next comes the think that, okay, we all think that AI with the advancements will always be right and it will be 100% accurate. But we understand that AI will just do the first pass or the review on the document rather than doing taking a job away or having it done by themselves. So we always have focus on human in the loop process of doing all the features that we develop. And about the expensiveness of AI and how expensive it will be. So it, in a way, with the recent advancements, having a AI team or building these AI features has become in a way very inexpensive and has become a pay per usage or kind of a concept where, so considering a scenario of maybe we have around 30 documents, each having an average of 30 pages. So for that processing, maximum cost that comes to the user is roughly around $3 to $5. So comparing that to a reviewer who has to do the job and taking his time out of his negotiation and the more worthwhile job that he can be done, it is quite significant across domain. So, and as I mentioned, the elephant in the cave of AI stealing the job. So that is something we shouldn't be concerned about because AI will always be a helping hand which can take you through the review process and make sure that or whatever data you need to track is everything handy. Yeah. So that's my take on the concerns, Sriram.
That's reassuring, Aditya, for sure. So moving on, what do we have here? So Aditya, would you like to, set some context for this use case before you demo it?
Mhm. Sure, Sriram. So, at our, having talked to lots of clients and the users itself, most of the current scenario, how it is we have a company has maybe thousands of contracts spread across different repositories and having them in a single way and having it migrated to a maybe a contract lifecycle management software itself is a tedious task because there are lots of data that needs to be extracted out of them. And the data that can be extracted depends on the template or the contract type itself. So for NDA, you have so and so contract terms that you need to extract, and that is the case for any of the contract that you have. And having them migrated, we have built a tool that can do the heavy lifting for you so that you only extract what we need. So imagining a scenario where I have all the contracts in the SharePoint, and that's where we have our central repository account. We have a
Okay.
folder of documents with hundreds of contract documents. So for now, keeping it to just a single one for the demo perspective. And we have a set of contract fields that we need to extract from. It could be anything from contract, the notice that we need to give, the parties that are associated, the cost, who are the signatories associated with it. And I'll just give you a rough of how the document, the manual process goes at the moment. So this is a service agreement between Mercy Corps and Doc 365, which entered with, so it is the effective date is 15 September 2025. And you go through, read through all of this to identify, okay, what is the governing law and so this itself is a manual process, and when it comes to it,
Right, right.
yeah, then identifying all those, I'll quickly check if I can find the governing law. Okay, so this is governed by the state of Oregon, and so this is just the fourth page. And as the data comes in, there's more data like who are the signatories of it, which is John from Doc and Mercy, Aditya from Mercy Corp. So all of this are spread across various pages of the document. So let's see how our AI does the job for us now. So here I first upload the schema or the terms that I need to extract from the specific document.
Is that the
And
Excel file that you had shown us where you've kind of predetermined
Mhm.
what kind of data sets you would want captured, right?
That is right,
Okay.
Surya.
Okay. So that's the schema document, the Excel
The
file.
schema
Okay.
document, yes. And I just click on, so in a practical scenario, what you'll do is you say, give this process maybe just before you leave office, and by the time you're back the next day morning, you have all the documents extracted and have it ready at your fingertips for your review. So we are not taking your job away. We are making sure that whatever data we have extracted, all of it is at your fingertips and can be reviewed and made sure, okay, this data is correct or not. So again, stressing on the point of that AI isn't always right, that human is has the choice of reviewing the same. So
So
we have
there's
seen that
always
the
a need
part
for a human in the loop to go ahead and verify before it can be confirmed, right? So
that's
you're
right.
just making the job easier of scanning through thousands of documents, getting the right information, and then for you to go ahead and finally just review and confirm whether you have all the data intact, right? This makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yes. So coming
So is
that
this what it's extracted from the
from
document?
Yeah. So whatever data is extracted can be verified in the document itself and navigated there. So as I saw in the document that the address was there, the parties were there, then the notice to cancel was 1 month, then the cost associated, the signatories that are there, the date associated with it, the governing law, and this itself is all customizable by the user and required. So once you review it, just submit it and do so for all the documents that are there, and you have it ready as a Excel sheet that you can use and have it for migration into the system that we use. All of this are easily at your fingertips.
Okay,
So that is what I want to show from the migration point of view. Sriram.
super. Yep, that was insightful. What else can we do with AI?
Mhm. So next, what we I'm going to show you is, uh, so in a way we have always have from a company point of view, we have a set of clause libraries that are there. So that the company follows or the playbook that we are looking into. And all of this could be for maybe indemnification clause or the confidentiality clause, all depends on the company itself. And we need to make sure that whatever contract comes in matches the specific profile and doesn't go away from it. And there are cases where it could be different and could be very different from what you need. So for that, we have developed a feature where all of this can be flagged and identified. Okay, where does the difference come upon? So this is another document that we have, and we have identified, okay, which are the clauses that we have. And coming up to an insurance document. And as you can see that this insurance is,
Okay, maybe you're not sharing your screen yet, Aditya.
mhm. Yeah. So coming to
Okay.
the contract, thanks, Sriram, for the heads up. So when it comes to this specific contract document, we have all the clauses that are there in the document extracted and have it ready here. And it extracts all the clauses that we have and identifies, okay, how different it is from the normal clauses that we have in
Okay.
the our standard library itself. So this is the insurance clause that we have in the document, and that is very different from what we have in the clause library. So this flagging is also very important from a reviewer point of view. So we made sure that it can be either replaced with a playbook document that we have, or can be replaced with a maybe we need to change some clause terms from this and add additional terms. So in this case, maybe we have a insurance liability of to be maintained by the lessor of 1 lakh $10 million. So this maybe I want to modify it as by the insurance amount to 20 million. So it's as simple as prompting in the language and in our just a natural language and having it modified to our specific terms that we have. So we have the case where, so we mentioned that we needed the proportionate share to increase by to 1 lakh, and this can be easily replaced to the specific contract that we have, and all of
Okay.
this is
So
being.
if you have your, I mean, when you're reviewing a third-party supplied document and then you're going about with the review of these third-party supplied contract document, so you can go ahead and, enable your track changes, and then whatever you want pushed into the document would come about as a red line, is it?
That is
Okay.
right, Sriram. And any
Okay.
of the clauses that are missing out for a specific scenario can be added based on the user choice as well, and as well as the situation there.
So what I understand is, I mean, you would need something to compare your third-party supplied document with, right? So maybe you can go ahead and create a clause library, taking all of your standard contract language, your terms and conditions, load them up in a library or a playbook. I mean, as you may call it, and then have the document compared with that playbook, and then figure out how different it is from your standard clauses. Is that what that summary of difference was talking to?
Yes. So all of the clauses that we had extracted from that specific document would be compared to the specific clause that we added in the clause library. And the summary of difference would be the difference between the two of them. Just
Okay.
wanted to say that.
And then you can either get the AI to go ahead and replace it with what you have in your clause library, or create your own language
Quantification.
using the AI, just like you would create something using ChatGPT, right? And then push that into the document.
Got it, right, Sriram. Yes.
Okay.
That's what we intend to do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Aditya. All right. So what I feel personally, is the takeaway, is that organizations, need not worry about AI replacing humans, and rather embrace AI to, empower the humans that run the show. So give them the ability to do away with their repetitive tasks, help them find more time for the strategic ones, be more productive, and be forever irreplaceable by AI. Right, Aditya?
That is right, Sriram. So all of our focus is on that the user making the final decision, and AI will be the doing the first pass of the document, which will be fast and can be done at scale. So this is what we wanted to highlight, so that the users themselves can focus more on their analysis and negotiation rather than having to read through all the documents that are there.
Awesome. All righty. All right. So should our viewers be interested in learning more, please head over to our website, www.mydoc365.com. There's a great deal of free resources that you can consume to help you streamline your contracts management. If you would like a personalized one-on-one session with our specialists, feel free to go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen and then book a time that works for you, and we will look forward to connecting with you all. I appreciate your time, everyone. And Aditya, thank you so much for taking the time out and the valuable insights. I wish everyone a great day ahead. Bye.
Thank you, Shreya. Thanks, everyone.